What's up, everybody? We are live. We got a pretty good card here. We got UFC St. Petersburg, and we got a main event of Alistar Overeem versus Boa Oleski Olenek. It's a pretty good main event. I'm really excited to see what happens. And joining me, every day is my co-host Kelton. Kelton, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm super excited to talk about this Russian card. There's a lot of really exciting debuts on this card. Obviously, the main event. It's always fun to see Alistar Overeem in action. And there's some firefights on this card, man. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, at first, I didn't think it was the best card, but then when I looked into it more, there's a lot of good, debuting guys here, and it's a pretty decent card for Russia. I definitely like next week's card, more, and the card after that in Canada, which we made a play, by the way, already. We'll talk about that later. Both those cards, I think, are better, but, we're UFC fans, we're diehard fans. We're going to watch every UFC card, so I'm excited. And you know what? Also, here live right now, we haven't even discussed this, but I'm sure you'll agree. We should do maybe another fight companion on Saturday if you're down, because the fights are at 7 a.m. for me, and I don't go to work till 2. So if you're down, we should jump on here for a couple of fights.
I work all day, unfortunately. That's the first day I go back to work from my vacation.
All right, well, I might do one maybe by myself, or we'll see if I can get someone in here. But yeah, maybe we'll see. Yeah, I probably will. I'll see. I'll hit up some people. But anyways, before we talk about this card, let's talk about UFC 236, Dustin Poirier. That was one of the best fights I've ever seen. The co-main event was one of the best fights I've ever seen. Damn, dude, Dustin went out there and okay, I'll say this right here on the podcast. It was a close fight. Okay, Max definitely won, I think, 2 rounds, but you can't sit here and say that he won that fight. Dustin clearly won that fight, and Dustin really impressed me, man. Is he going to beat Khabib? I don't know. Khabib is untouchable right now. I bet against Khabib 3 times, so I think I need to stay away from that because he's definitely the best fighter in the division, and probably going to be holding on to the strap for a while until Tony Ferguson gets his shit together. But yeah, man, Dustin went out there and looked good. The power, man, is too much, I think. I just think Max just doesn't have a lot of mass on him. I don't think anyone beats him at 45. I'm sure you agree with me on that. But Max could beat guys at 55 for sure. I think he beat Gaethje, to be honest. And I just bet Gaethje versus Barbosa. But I probably lean Max there pre-tape. But against the heavy hitters, man, like Dustin Poirier, I don't know. I don't think he can beat, even if the rematch. I probably got Dustin. So what are your takes on that fight? Oh, real quick. I did cash on that bet. I bet 3 units at plus 185, man. So I won 5.5 units on that. So that was sweet for sure.
Yeah, man, it was a great fight. It was an absolute honor to be in attendance for that one. And of course, we were coming off that insane co-main event title fight, so there was a lot of energy being expensed by us fans out there. But we thought we were like, oh shit, there's another main event after this. There's another title fight. I'm exhausted, but dude, it gave us a second wind. It was just absolutely amazing. Huge props to Dustin. It's awesome to see that guy finally get a UFC title because really, he's one of the best fighters of this generation that's never had a strap, and now he does, man. It's really awesome, and it's a real title. He beat a real champion. It 100%, in my opinion, has to be Dustin Poirier versus Khabib Nurmagomedov next. As much as I like Conor, and I've been defending him the last couple days, it should not be Conor versus Khabib too. It should be Dustin versus Khabib. Great fight, though, man. I thought Max put on an excellent performance. Nothing to be ashamed of there. I had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. Personally, I thought Dustin won. I thought Dustin won rounds 1 and 2, 10-9. Although round 1 was an ass whooping. I'm not going to hate someone if they say that was a 10-8 round. But personally, I had it 10-9, 10-9 the second. Max, I gave 3 and 4, 10-9. And then in the 5th round, I thought Poirier just did a little bit more than him, man. So props to him. That was a great fight.
I think the 4th round you could have scored for Dustin just because he hurt him at the end. But Max was winning that round. But there's a lot of people that said Dustin won 4 rounds and stuff. I think it was 2-2 going in the 5th, and I think Dustin, won in the 5th. But the first 2 rounds, Dustin really poured on Max. Max's chin, man, he has a really good chin, man. Max didn't even get dropped, dude. He got wobbled a bunch of times, but and also the Dustin's striking, man, wow. His striking has looked really good, man. A lot of people don't think he's that good still, which I don't know why. I think he beats everyone at 55 besides probably Khabib. It's funny because I actually thought Tony would beat him, but now with Tony on the shelves and all the stuff he's going through and how he looked against Pettis, I think Dustin would probably beat Tony. That's just my take pre-tape. But let's talk about Bilal. Team Bro picks. What's our record on picks or on bets?
After this card, we are now 10 wins, 4 losses.
Okay, I'll tell you this real quick. Like, I was a little nervous right when Curtis Munder's coach slapped him in the face because, like, Curtis was, like, getting really pumped. And, like, I was like, oh, I don't know. For some reason, I just got a little nervous. I'm like, damn, like, he looks really big, you know, and he's a lot bigger than Bilal, but that doesn't mean anything, man. Bilal beat him on the feet. That's what, like, I did not see coming. Like, Bilal's striking's really good, but the fact that he beat him everywhere, like, I mean, Bilal's chin's good, too. Like, you know, I don't think he has a bad chin. He got knocked out once against Luque, but I mean, Luque beats, you know, most of the guys in the division, to be honest. So that was impressive, man. Bilal just dominated him on the feet, took him down. He won every round, and I'm surprised he didn't get him out of there. Curtis is tough, for sure. He has a good chin. I'm excited to see who they both fight next. I think Bilal definitely, after that performance, he needs to get a top 15 guy next, because Jeff Neal's a top 15 guy between me and you. I don't think he's ranked, but he's getting a big fight next.
Yeah, man, I thought that was a great performance by Bilal Muhammad. I personally scored it 30-26. He almost finished him there in that third round. And you're right, man, got to beat on the feet as well. I think Curtis was so worried. Like I said on the show, man, Bilal Muhammad's no slouch on the feet as well. He actually hurt Jeff Neal to the body multiple times in their second round of their fight. Bilal's a good fighter, man. I believe I don't know. I want to say he's probably close to somewhere around the number 20 guy in the world, if that sounds about right. Probably somewhere around 20. And he's going to win a lot of fights in the UFC. He's going to stick around in the UFC for a long time. Yeah, we both cashed on that, man. We went 1-1, though, on those consensus bets. I don't really want to talk about it, but Jalen Turner kind of let us down a little bit. Couldn't really stuff. And, again, he didn't have his full confidence on the feet as well, just because once he got taken down that first time, he was kind of worried about the takedowns up until the point where Favola started to gas just a little bit. Then Jalen started to get it back. I actually thought Jalen won that second round. I completely disagree with the 30-27 scorecards. I thought Favola won the first, of course. Second round, Jalen. And then the third round was very razor close. I did give it to Favola, though. But we don't got to talk about that fight, man. Kelvin Gastelum and Israel Adesanya put on the best fight I've ever seen in my life, man. And I was happy enough to be there in person for it. That's another fight. That's another title fight. I had 2-2 going into the fifth round. I can't remember exactly which rounds I gave to who. But props to Israel Adesanya, dude. Like 2-2 going into the fifth round, and he 10-8s the guy, just seconds away from finishing him there. I actually thought Adesanya was about to lock in that triangle choke for a minute, dude. How crazy would that have been if he got a submission there, like shades of Anderson Silva with the fifth round triangle? That would have been sick. He came close, though, and props to both those guys. They just both dug so deep. Kelvin's going to be back. He for sure 100% is like a top 4 guy in that division. So, yeah, I took the shot on Kelvin there. Didn't work out. Adesanya's a champ, man. Is what it is. I felt like I had value in plus 160. Like, it was a really, really close fight. Both guys hurt each other. Just most disappointing part of the fight for me is when Kelvin had Israel rocked from that head kick, then followed up with some overhands. And when he had him super rocked against the cage, he went for the takedown, man. Just, I don't know. Is what it is. I'm not going to say the guy's bad fight IQ. I mean, he's shown numerous times how high his fight IQ is. So I think it was just a little blip in the moment of a really high-level fight. So I'm not going to hold that against Kelvin, but great fight, man. What do you think?
I wouldn't pick against Kelvin, to be honest, against anyone in the division besides Stylebender. I mean, I had a bet on him versus Whitaker. So I'm really high in Kelvin. I think he beats everybody besides Stylebender. A lot of people, man, like that I'm cool with too, were saying stuff that Stylebender, like there's guys in the top 10 that would beat him. Like, okay, I don't know what you guys are thinking of. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. No one beats Stylebender, in my opinion. I know Whitaker's probably going to give him, like, you know, like a really tough fight, I think. And Whitaker's a really good fighter. Like, I'm undefeated on betting Whitaker. I bet Whitaker versus Jacare Souza. I bet him versus Romero the first time. I know how good Whitaker is. I just think his chin, you know, might be a little suspect after all the damage he's taken. That's why I bet. And I thought Kelvin would knock him out. But I think Stylebender is going to beat Whitaker pre-tape. But Whitaker's a beast. He's a champ for a reason. I just think those three are the best guys in the division. Romero's a really good fighter too, but I mean, I think he needs to go to 205. I mean, it's a hard cut for him to make 185. One more thing too, little matchmaking here. I think Bilal should fight Tony Martin. I think that'd be a really good fight. Both guys are outside the top 15. And I think Melender needs to fight Joban. Joban, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you didn't do anything in that fight. You won the 3rd round. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a big Joban fan, and I thought, like, watching the fight live, I thought he could have won. But then when I rewatched it, by the way, it was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Like, I don't even know why I rewatched it. It was so bad. I think Grant won the fight. Grant has good counter striking, and he has good movement. And, he plays, man, just with guys. He doesn't throw a lot, and he just lets you come forward, and he tagged Joban a lot. So Joban didn't do anything, man, besides that 3rd round. So I think Grant definitely won that fight. And if you're ready, man, I'm ready to dive right in this card. It's up to you.
Just a quick couple more gems from that 236 card. Khalil Roundtree with arguably one of the best performances of the night. Your boy, man. How are you going to forget about your boy with arguably is the best performance of his career? 30-26, dropped Anders 4 times in that 2nd round. Yeah. Honestly, dude, through all the title fights, the co-main event and main event, the time on the event I was screaming the hardest is when Khalil was knocking down Anders, and he was just playing with his legs. Like, he wouldn't just let him right back up after knocking him down. He was just kind of playing with his food a little bit. I'm like, dude, let him up. You're giving him time to recover, but that's what it is, man. He beat the shit out of him. What do you think of your boy?
I like, both the guys a lot, and that's why, I didn't bet the fight, and I picked Anders by split. I even said Khalil was live. I just think Khalil, like, I didn't know, like, well, I knew he was training in Thailand, but I didn't watch a lot of the videos and stuff, but I just thought that Anders would, win the fight close. I think Anders would be able to take him down, but, like, he didn't even go for a takedown once. I mean, he might have, but Khalil stuffed it, but that was the best Khalil we've ever seen. I mean, if you guys know me, I'm sure everyone that knows me, that knows UFC Pro Picks, knows that I'm high in Khalil, and I like the guy a lot. I bet on him versus Craig. I bet on him versus Saki. That was the best Khalil we've ever seen. 2.0. He looked like a truck out there. I still want to see, when he fights a grappler, like, let's see him versus Alonzo Menenfield. That would be a really good fight. I mean, that would be a crazy fight. I don't know how I got there. I mean, because I'm really high on Menenfield. Jim Crute versus Khalil, like, damn, that would be a scrap. Damn, like, Khalil needs to get matched up with someone good, man, because that was a really good performance against him. And Anders, he'll be back. I don't think he's a jobber. I really don't. I don't think he's gonna be a top 15 guy anymore. Like, I thought he would have in the past. I think he could have beat Elias, but he just let Elias let off the hook. Like, he just didn't go after it. I think he still wins fights though. Like, I really do. I think he would dominate Paul Craig if they ever fought. And if that fight happens, we actually might get a good line on that, to be honest.
Yeah, we could, man. One more gem on this card I wanted to point out. I thought it was also this person's best performance of their career. Alexandre Pantoja. I've been singing the praises on this guy for years, man, ever since he was on The Ultimate Fighter. Came out here, 1st round KO. Like, I've been so high on this guy. He's my biggest bet of all time when I had 10 units on him versus Sasaki. I really liked him in this fight too, and I'm kind of pissed I passed on it, especially since it got bet down all the way to like minus 145. But I just wanted to say props to that guy real quick. That was really good. He got taken down like I knew he was going to get taken down. He gets taken down in like all his fights, but popped right back up. And as soon as he got back up, and Wilson expended some energy getting that one takedown, it was just all over from there. He was just so much better on the feet, and this is why flyweight needs to stick around, man, because there's still guys like this Pantoja that are emerging, and if that weight class sticks around, he's going to be a top 5 guy for a long time.
Yeah, I'm curious if he fights at 135, if they get rid of 125, how he looks. But thank you, Pantoja, because you won me like $200 on DraftKings. Yeah, man, he's a beast, dude. He's top level. I think he beat Alex Perez, in my opinion. I think he would give Joe B a really tough fight. Pantoja's serious. So enough of that card, but it was one of the best cards I've ever seen. I'm trying to think, is there any other fights that we got to talk about?
Brandon Davis. I saw Brandon Davis on Friday night before the fights, and he looked really good, man. Real rehydrated. I think that 135-pound weight class is really good for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight next. And the guy he fought, Randy Costa, is not bad. I want to see him fight again, too.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm trying to think who else we should talk about. I think we're good. You know what? One more thing. You know what, man? I think Warren Mueller actually, I think her stock goes a little up in that fight. I know she lost, but she went good in the 3rd round. I mean, her takedown defense is a little suspect, but Tello, man, like, dude, her gas leg's terrible, man. Like, it's so bad. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think she's that good. Like, she barely won that fight. I really think. I think Warren Mueller lost the first 2 rounds. I think they were close, but she was beating Patello on the feet, man. Like, she couldn't, get up. Like, she got taken down. But I don't know. I thought Mueller didn't look that bad in that fight. I think Mueller would beat Van Zandt. Like, I think Mueller would. Actually, I don't know about that. Van Zandt, I like Van Zandt. Like, she's not going to be a top girl, but it was a sketchy fight versus Ostovich. I was sweating my ass off in that bet. But I don't know. I think Mueller wins fights in the division. I really do. But I don't even want to talk about who they fight next because I don't care. So right now, I care about this card. So we'll talk about that another time. I'm a fan of Mueller. I am. I'm a fan of her, fan of Patello, even though I think she's a little overrated. But I mean, real quick, a lot of people don't think that girl fights are any good. Like, I think girl fights are good. Like, it depends on the girl fight. Like, there could be like, look at Andrade versus Angela Hill. Like, a lot of people just think that girl fights suck. Like, I feel like girl fights are good. It just depends on the fight. Moroz versus Mazza wasn't the best fight, and there's a lot of bad girl fights, but it depends on the fight. So,
for sure.
Enough with that. Let's talk about the first fight on the Russia card. I was going on a little span there. So, first fight of the night, we got Magomed Mustafaev versus Rafael Fiziev, and who do you got?
Ooh, this is a good fight, man. We just had a shit ton of line movement on it as well. Just like as a matter of hours ago, Mustafaev was around a minus 150 favorite. Now he's a slight it's pick'em now. Fiziev slight lean to him. He's minus 115. Mustafaev minus 105. And man, I think this is going to be a really, really good fight. I think it's a great fight to open up this card with. I think these guys are going to come in there and swing away, and one man is going to fall here. Mustafaev, it's interesting. This is his first fight in like what I want to say 2.5, 3 years, something like that. We haven't seen him since the Kevin Lee fight way, way back in the day. But the guy's not 35 years old. I don't expect him to be rusty or anything like that. He's 30. He's in his prime. I'm sure he's ready for this fight. I'm sure of it. The guy is a good fighter, and he has some good wins on his record, man. He's beaten Khabib's cousin, I think that is, Abu Bakar. Abu Bakar is not a bad fighter at all. Absolutely ran through Joe Proctor and Piotr Hallman. Beat some decent guys on the Russian scene. And then you got Fiziev on the other side, who Fiziev is actually a striking coach over at the Tiger Muay Thai out there in Thailand. So to have a title like that as striking coach in such a high-level striking gym like that, that's got to say something about this guy. And even watching his fights, I think he's a little outsized at 155, but that's also not such a bad thing. Like, he's got the speed advantage. He doesn't really gas. He's got great cardio. He's got a great chin. I kind of like him at 155. I think the only time the size is going to be too bad of a problem is when he's fighting a real high-level wrestler. And you think of these Russians as high-level wrestlers most of the time, but Mustafaev is more of a striker. I'm not saying he can't wrestle. I actually do think he can wrestle here. I do think he has more tools in this fight. I also think he has a lot more high-level experience, man. You go and look at Fiziev's record, and it's not the most appealing whatsoever. It's mostly some lower-level Asian fighters, like this dude from Mongolia, this dude from like Myanmar, Kazakhstan, 5-4 dudes, 2-5 guys. I mean, this is a massive, massive step up, and for the massive step up reason, for the more well-rounded reason, I'm going to side with Mustafaev in this fight, man. Just the thing is, when it comes to a bet on him, I personally would need plus money just because of that really long layoff, and I think these two guys are going to come in here and brawl, and that's kind of a sketchy fight. I actually think Fiziev might have the cardio advantage here because I've never seen the guy slow down. He's really active in there, and I think he's going to be quicker. So I could absolutely see him catch Magomed, but I'm going to go with the guy with more ways to win. I think he might be able to wrestle, and I think he has high-level experience. So I'll go with Mustafaev. I'll say second round KO.
Yeah, this is a tough fight, man, for me to call. I've been going back and forth. Before we went live, I was saying it's a really close fight, but I had Fiziev. But I think I'm gonna change my pick, man. I'm gonna go with Mustafaev. I think it's gonna go to 3 rounds. I really do. I think they're gonna be brawling for 3 rounds. That both guys are gonna get hurt. Could be fight of the night, one of the best fights of the night. But like you said, I think we have the grappling advantage. I don't know. I said we. I'm not betting it, but I think Magomed has a grappling advantage. I think he has more power in the feet. You know, he probably has more tools, but you know, you're right about the cardio advantage. He does slow down, and Fiziev definitely has the better cardio. But yeah, man, I just think Magomed hits harder, and I think he's gonna, you know, win a 29-28 split, and he's gonna be plus money pretty soon, which is crazy because he was a pretty big favorite, and you know, the layoffs concern him, which is why I'm not going to play it. He had a good fight with Kevin Lee. He hurt Kevin Lee, man, which is pretty crazy. But then again, Kevin Lee gets hurt, though, in a lot of fights. But yeah, man, I like Kevin Lee, though. Like, you know, Kevin Lee's a good fighter. But anyways, back on this, I got to go with Magomed by split decision. So the next fight, we got a fight that we both have a play on. We got how do you pronounce his first name?
McCall?
No, Antigulov.
Gadzamirad?
Gadzamirad, Antigulov versus Mikhail, Olek, Jacek. And I'll go first, even though we both have a play in it. And I got a parlay with 3 units on Mikhail with someone else layered in the card. And I'm really impressed with this guy, man. I mean, the fact that he dominated Khalil, like he took him down, like beat him on the feet. This guy throws so much volume out there, man. He has a good chin. He's been finished in the past, but I mean, it was a long time ago. And, you know, you could say that he's undersized for 205, but I actually think that 205 is a really good weight class for him because he's so much faster than everybody. He trains with good fighters. He trains with Jan Blachowicz. Jan's still a top 5 guy. Great striking, this guy. So much volume, good pressure. You saw that body shot he ripped against Volante. I mean, the fact that he dominated Khalil and that, you know, he just starched Volante in the first round, like a couple minutes. This guy's serious, man. This guy's one of the best prospects in the division. Antigulov, you know, we both bet him last fight, and it was, you know, a fight that we don't want to think about anymore because he just did not look good, man. He's a first round, you know, KO or bust, or not KO or bust, first round, you know, sub or bust. Bad cardio, man. You know, he has pretty good grappling. You know, he might be able to take Mikhail down, but I think Mikhail's going to pop right back up. And on the feet, I feel like Mikhail has such a big advantage on the feet. The pressure, I think, just going to really tire him out. And I think he's just going to break him, man. I really do. I think he's going to get a first-round finisher. I think a lot of people out there don't think that Mikhail has power, but, like, he just starts Volante. Like, you know, he has volume for days, man. That's what it is. Khalil has a good chin. Like, Khalil's been knocked out once, and that was against Johnny Walker, the future champ. If John Jones, like, you know, like, steps away or goes to heavyweight, because no one's beating John Jones. But anyways, yeah, I got Mikhail here all day. I just think Antigolov's chinny. I think he's been knocked out 3 times. He gets hurt in a lot of his fights, and I think his cardio is terrible. And I don't think his striking is that good. He's wild in the feet. And if he can't take Mikhail down, hold him down, I think he's in deep shit. So I got Mikhail by a first-round KO. I think he's going to hurt him in the body again because Antigulov is open in the body, man. And he's pretty pudgy too, man. So I think Mikhail's going to hurt him really bad. What about you?
Yeah, man. Like you mentioned, I got to play on Mikhail here as well. I played him straight, man. I put 4 units on minus 192 to win 2.08 units. I think I got a pretty good line there, man. You said it, dude. Gadzamirad Antigulov is first round or sub in this spot. Just holy shit, the way he gassed out there against Kudalaba, like it was quick, dude. Like that was what's the bantamweight's name? Patrick Williams. That was like Patrick Williams level of gassing out super fucking quick. Like that was just that's hot. That's not high level at all, man. I mean, just oh man, it really bums me out that we went out there and bet him that fight when in reality, Ion Kute-Laba was a gigantic step up from the Joaquin Christensens and the Marcos Rogerio de Limas of the world for sure. I think Gadzamirad Antigulov, I think he's taking an even bigger step up here, man. Personally, I rank this guy Mikhail higher than I do Kute-Laba. Mikhail, man, like you said a lot of good things about him. I agree with every one of it. And the biggest thing is kid's just 24 years old, man. Like he's going to keep getting better and better. And like you said, he's out there with super high level guys in Poland with Jan Blachowicz and all those guys who fight over there in the KSW promotion. It's a really good group of guys out there. That Khalil performance was amazing. Volante, I bet on him against Volante. Punch to the body finishes. I mean, how often do you see a punch to the body KO? The only ones I really think of recently are like Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens, and Mirsad Bektik versus Godofredo Pepe. You don't see that often, man. That's like special kind of shit, especially at 205. I mean, one of the fastest 205ers in the division. some of the best cardio. Honestly, man, I think this might even be like a step down from Volante and Roundtree as well. Like it's crazy. I don't know. This is just weird matchmaking, in my opinion. I think old Mikel should be a little bit higher here. I think he should be around a minus 300 favorite. I see a shit ton of value on him, man. I see him getting better every fight. I see him getting the job done here. Really, the only worry I have is getting submitted in the first round. If we get back up after that first takedown, I think we're good, man. But I mean, I'm not going to completely disrespect Antigulov. He does have that specialty. He has done that shit like 20 times. I mean, the guy has won 20 MMA fights, but this is a different level. There's levels to this game, and Mikal is a serious competitor. So I'm going to go with Mikal. I'll say he gets it done at the end of the first round, man. I'll say first round TKO right at the end there. So moving on to the next fight, we got Marcin Tybura, minus 140, taking on Shamil Abdurrahimov, plus 120. This is an interesting heavyweight fight, man. These are two of the I don't want to say the bigger names on the card because these guys aren't stars by any means, but these are two of the more experienced fighters on the card. I mean, both these guys have fought in the UFC a lot at this point. Both of them have had shining moments. Both of them have had real shit moments, if we're just being quite honest. I think this fight this is a really, really fucking close fight, man. And the fact that I think it's a really close fight, Shamil with the home advantage here, I completely agree with the money that has been coming in on Shamil Abdurrahimov. And if you got that peak price of like plus 170, holy shit, dude. Shamil plus 170, that's a really good bet. I wish I would have looked into it further because I just kind of see this fight being real slow paced where both guys try to pick each other apart. Both guys probably think they're the better striker, but in reality, man, I think Shamil, I feel like Shamil's slightly been progressing to whereas Tybura's kind of, I don't know. I feel like Tybura looked better in the beginning of his UFC career, but that's just me. I think Shamil with his performance against Chase Sherman, like a lot of people were picking him against Chase Sherman. He was like a minus 200 there, but I don't think anybody had him by KO there. Like he went out there and destroyed Chase Sherman. And, you know, most of the time guys don't KO Chase Sherman. Most of the time it's by a decision. So I wouldn't look past that win too much. That was a good win there for Shamil. And then against Arlovsky, I know Arlovsky's lost a lot of spots, but hey, Shamil had plus money behind his name when that line opened up. So, I mean, that was a decent win as well. And Tybura, I don't know, man. It's just, I think he's outsized here. I think Shamil might have more pop behind his punches. I think Shamil, I think he might be the bigger, stronger guy who might have the wrestling advantage. And of course, if this fight's close, they're gonna give it to the Russian. So I'm gonna go with the underdog. I'm gonna go with Shamil. And I saw your face there. The wrestling's gonna be close. I wouldn't say he has a big advantage, but I don't know. I just feel like he's gonna be stronger in the clinch exchanges.
Yeah, Tybura actually also trains with Blachowicz and Mikel, by the way. But you know, man, I'm really familiar with Tybura. You know, I bet him like 3 times. I cashed on him versus Orlowski. I cashed on him versus Struve, and I lost versus Derek Lewis. You know, I think he's a good fighter, but he makes you sweat. Like, you know, the Struve fight was close. Like, he won, but like he still makes you sweat. The Derek Lewis fight, like, he was winning the whole fight and then got caught. You know, the fight with Orlowski, he made me sweat in the second round. But he looked pretty good in the Verdum fight, man, for 5 rounds. Actually, I bet him in that fight too, so I guess I'm 2-2. But yeah, man, you know, I don't think he's that bad. I really don't. I think he has good volume. I think he has good pressure. I think he has good wrestling too. You know, I bet him versus Enrique too. So my bad, 3-2. Anyways, he has pretty good grappling, man. Like, you know, Shamil does too, but I think Tybura, man, has better grappling. I think he can take him down. On the feet, I do agree with you. I think Shamil has more power, but I think Tybura has, you know, more tools. I think he has the more, like, you know, better cardio. I think he has really good pressure, Tybura. You know, he's good front kicks, good kicks. His hands, you know, we don't really see Tybura's boxing that much, but I think he's going to make it an ugly fight. I think this is definitely one of the, you know, the biggest fights in the card you got to pass from because it's a close fight. Both these guys are, you know, pretty well matched. Tybura's minus 140 now, so, you know, they might get near pick him, but I want no part of it. But I got Tybura by a close decision. I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to, you know, throw out more volume, man, and maybe, you know, get a couple more takedowns. So next fight, we got Alexander Yakovlev, the rapper, versus Alex Silva. And I'm going to let the guy that has a plan go first.
Yeah, man. This is my second and as of now final play. I only got two plays for this card so far, and 2 units on Alex De Silva at plus 135 happens to be one of those two, man. I like this kid a lot. I love Alex De Silva. He's a really fun guy to watch. He's had a really entertaining career. I forgot what the name of the organization is. Espera FC out there in Brazil. That's a really well respected organization, and he was fighting some good guys out there in Brazil. I see like 11-5, 4-0 record, stuff like that. And then recently, he's actually been coming over to fighting in the Brave Combat Federation organization against this guy's past 4 fights. He's coming out and fighting guys in their home crowd and beating them, destroying them. Like it's really entertaining. And his only one loss to Jacob Kowalkiewicz in a Polish fighter out in Brave. In my opinion, I thought Alex won that fight. He was taken down a few times. If there's any fault in his game, it probably is this takedown defense, which kind of worries me here a little bit against Yakovlev, who is, that is his background. He is a wrestler, but I'm going to tell you why I like Alex De Silva in this fight here, man, because every single time I've seen this kid taken down, he literally, he's some people we see, they go out there, they get taken down. They're an absolute fish. They just do not do the right things. This dude, Alex, and he's coming out of a good gym as well, Astra Fight Team. There's some really good fighters down there in Brazil. This kid does all the right things to get back up to his feet. He's always exploding. He's always moving. He's throwing up subs. He's just constantly making these guys work, and a lot of the times he does get taken down, but he gets right back up and finishes those guys. Now, the one time he wasn't able to get back up and finish the guy, he ended up losing a really, really close decision, but in my opinion, that was a little bit of home cooking right there, going to the Polish guy in Europe. I thought he won that fight, man. I thought he did enough, and I just like what I see about him, man. He's a really good striker on the feet. He's super active. He's really good cardio. Throws a lot. Is super creative with his striking. I think this dude has a lot of potential. So in this fight specifically, you got Yakovlev on the other side, who's, I believe this is his first fight, and I want to say 3 years. We haven't seen him since 2016, since his submission loss against Zach Cummings. And yikes, to get absolutely outclassed on the mat by a guy like Zach Cummings. That was kind of a bad look, but fortunately for him, he's actually coming back down here to 155, where he doesn't have to fight guys who are twice as strong as him. But the thing is, looking at Yak's record, I know his only UFC wins are a first-round KO against George Sullivan. Well, Mickey Gall also finished George Sullivan in the first round, and then a unanimous decision win against Gray Maynard, who at that time, we're talking about the ghost of Gray Maynard. Gray Maynard just had nothing for him whatsoever. Other than that, he is 2-4 in the UFC. Before that, probably his best win is Paul Daly. He was able to out-wrestle Paul Daly, but if there's one thing we know about Paul Daly, that's a guy who is a fish off his back. Now, what intrigues me about this fight, man, I think on the feet, I think Alex is going to be a big problem for Yakovlev on the feet. I think he's going to be throwing a lot more. I think there's going to be more pop behind his punches. I think he's just going to have a lot more energy about him. I think he can utilize the calf kicks on those long, skinny legs of Yakovlev, and Yakovlev needs to go for takedowns here. He's not going to knock out Leko. Leko has a really, really good chin. I don't even see him out-volleying Leko on the feet. I think Leko throws way more to, even in Russia, be screwed here on volume. I think Yakovlev absolutely needs takedowns in this fight, and the reason why I think that's going to be such a difficult task for him, man, is because he's 6'3" and he's fighting the short and stocky 5'7" Alex Leko, and I think that he's going to have some problems getting that such a low center of gravity in Leko down. He's going to be super explosive. He's going to be doing all the right things to get out, and I think it's going to be tough. And I think even if he does get him down, man, I think Leko is going to do all those right things, and I just feel like he wants it more, man. The fact that we haven't seen Yakovlev in 3 years, he's got a lot of things going outside the sport. Let's be honest, he's on the wrong side of his 30s now. I believe he's almost 36 years old. I think this is Leko's time, man. I think this is a really, really good underdog spot. I think either he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns and outstrike Yakovlev, maybe even knock him out, or when he does get taken down, he's going to do the right things. Maybe I would not be surprised if he was able to reverse him on the mat and choke him out with a rear naked choke. This guy, Leko, early in his career, he got a lot of submissions. It's kind of a lot of knockouts now, but he's just very well-rounded. He's young as well. He's like 23, 24 years old. He's getting better every fight. I got him to win this fight, man. I'm going to say he gets it done by submission. Another thing, Yakovlev, he's been finished a lot. I know he was only knocked out once in his career, and it was like 2004 against a middleweight, but he's been submitted a shit ton of times, and I think Leko gets this done. So I'm going to go with Leko, second round rear naked choke, 2 units plus 135.
Yeah, I know I was talking some crap in our chat saying that I got Yakovlev, but I got this over here. I'm not confident, though. I'm not going to be playing it. I know he's a dog, but Yakovlev, the guy hasn't fought in a long time. Big red flag. He has good grappling now. I'm anxious to see how he looks at 55. He's a pretty big 55er, man. He's a big guy. He's pretty big for 170, but he's, his power in the feet, but I mean, he's knocked out Sullivan. Sullivan's a trash can. He beat Maynard. Maynard's a trash can as well. Striking, it's whatever. I think he has good grappling, but like you said, he's been subbed a bunch of times. I think De Silva's, the younger fighter. I think that he has better striking, and I think if he gets taken down, he could get back up or maybe even threaten to get a submission as well. Because, like you said, he's been subbed like 4 times, Yakovlev. So I got the fresher fighter. I got the guy that's been fighting more. So I got De Silva as well. So next fight, man, this is one of the best fights in the card, in my opinion. Probably the only reason why I'm saying one of the best cards is I got to plan it. But we got because a lot of people probably think it's a whack ass fight, but I don't think so. We got Sultan Aliev versus Kelton Nakamura, and I got 3 units on Kelton Nakamura. I botched the line. I got him at minus 115, and then he hit plus money at one point. Now he's back at minus 105. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that he was fighting in Russia, and he's probably gonna hit plus money. But it is what it is. Man, Kelton Nakamura, he's a good fighter. I think he's definitely declining, but I think a declining Nakamura can still go out there and beat a guy like Sultan Aliev. I don't think this guy's good. I really don't. I don't think he's UFC material at all. The guy is barely even fought. He's fought like 3 times in the past 4 years. His first fight in the UFC against Kenny Roberson, he got taken down. He got his back taken. Then he got knocked out. Like, come on, man. Kenny Roberson, he was a pretty decent fighter at the time. But you get knocked out against a guy that doesn't knock out people, like, that's pretty embarrassing. Then his second fight against Bojan Veljković was a pretty whack-ass fight. It was a boring fight. He took down Veljković, but who doesn't take down Veljković? And also, he even got his back taken. Like, Veljković reversed him. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think this guy's that good. I think he's slow on the feet. Let's talk about the last fight real quick against Warrior Alves. Alves dominated him, and then, there's a doctor stoppage. This guy's been, stopped twice on the feet. His chin, like, I think he's tough, but, like, I think he's taken way more damage than Nakamura has. I think he's slow and stiff on the feet. I don't think his striking is that good. I think that Nakamura is a better striker. I think he's a faster striker. I think he's more technical. I think we got more tools on the feet. I think, his grappling is decent. I think it's going to be really hard for him to take down Nakamura. If he does, I think we're going to get right back up, and I think we can actually take him down. Nakamura's taken down, like, everybody he's fought besides his last fight. He took down Tony Martin 4 times. He took down Zaleski 6 times. He took down Tom Breeze multiple times. Between me and you, this guy should be 5-2 in the UFC. He's not 4-3. This guy beat Tom Breeze. That's just my opinion. I'm sure you agree. But yeah, man, I think we're better everywhere the fight goes, to be honest. I think we're more durable as well. I think we have better cardio. I think we've got a really good counter-striking game. He's a pressure fighter too, and Aliev backs up a lot, man. So I think we got good body kicks. I think we got a good left hand, good right hand. And don't be surprised if he hurt Sultan Aliev on the feet. Don't be surprised at all, because he hurt Salim in his last fight, man. And, Salim's been known to have a really good chin. And I thought that wasn't a split. I thought we definitely won that fight for 2 rounds for sure. The first round was actually close. I think we could have won the first round, but yeah, man, I think Nakamura is declining, but I think a guy like that, like, they can go out there and dominate a guy like Aliev, man. Like, I don't think he's that good at all. So I think we're better everywhere, man. We got a good jab, so I think we're better wherever the fight goes. I'm gonna be a little nervous, if it goes to judges because it's Russia, but I think if his scorecard do win, I think we get the finish. We could get the finish. So yeah, man, I got Nakamura with the 3rd round TKO. I think he's gonna hurt him, man, in the body, man, and I think he's gonna put him out. So I got Nakamura, but I won't be surprised at all if he gets a submission too, because that's probably going to happen. I mean, that could definitely happen. What about you?
Man, I definitely agree with you that this is one of the best fights on this card. Like, I'm a huge fan of K-Taro Nakamura. I mean, the guy's awesome. He's super experienced. He's so crafty in there. Has a lot of nice sub victories. The Leech Jing Liang fight always sticks out to me. That comeback win there in the third round. That's like super impressive shit, man. I'll always forever be a fan of Keita Nakamura. Now, this fight is really, really interesting because he's fighting a Russian in Russia, man, and that Russian, and we don't know what some of these Russians are going to be on for these fights, man. What kind of doctors they got for this fight, man. But, oh, man, I just have a feeling Sultan's just going to come in here all juiced up and possibly just out-wrestle Keita for a couple of rounds, and that's totally a possibility. I'm going to say this. If this fight was in Japan, Keita Nakamura would be like a minus 200 favorite, in my opinion. But the fact that I think there's a huge possibility that this fight's going to end up being really close and that it's in Russia, that kind of gives me restraint from betting Keita here. I would definitely need some plus money. But, man, Salim, that last fight against Worley Alves, like, he took a lot of damage to the face. Like, props to him for, like, not getting knocked out. But you see his face afterwards? Like, the way they, like, one of the most brutal doctor stoppages I've ever seen in my life. Like, that fight was what? It was less than a year ago. I mean, let's soften his face up a little bit. And, I mean, the fact that he's been knocked out by Kenny Robertson as well. You mentioned it, a guy who's not known for knocking out shit, and Kenny Robertson was able to just blast him. And you said it, man. Keita, he went out there, he dropped Salim last fight. I think Keita was the underdog, too, and came through and won clearly, in my opinion. I don't know how the hell a judge.
He was the favorite.
Okay. It was close. I remember it was line close, but dude, I don't know how a judge scored that fucking for Salim. There's no way, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Keita Nakamura to get the job done here, man. I just think he's a lot more experienced. I think he has more paths to victory here. I think he's a lot better striker. So while it's on the feet, I think he's definitely going to get the better of Sultan. But I think he's going to have to do a lot to hold Sultan off of him from holding him down for 2 rounds. Because if Sultan has 2 rounds where he holds him down for at least a couple minutes, like, oh man, those judges might they might favor 2 rounds of top control over 3 rounds of Keita outstriking him. So it's just like a super sketchy situation. But I think you got the right guy because I think he has a lot better chance for a finish here, man. I think Sultan's cardio is a little suspect. And I just mentioned that 3rd round comeback victory against Li Jingliang. Like, Keita is a guy that's going to fight for your money. Never just going to happily give up a position. I think eventually Sultan downs into a back take, and he's going to tap him out, man. So I'm going to go with Keita Nakamura via 3rd round submission, and I wish you luck in your bet.
One more thing. Let me ask you a question real quick. When was the last time we got taken down or controlled on the mat?
Keita Nakamura?
Yeah.
Ah, man. Let me look at the old record. I mean, has he fought in wrestlers lately?
The only guy I think that reversed him on the mat was Tom Breeze. But Tom Breeze is a pretty big guy. You can say he's a can all you want and all this because, you know, what's going on with him on the outside UFC. But I still think he's a pretty good fighter.
Tony Martin outstruck him.
Yeah, but we took him down, man, too. We took him down like 4 times. But Tony Martin threatened us with the Kimura. But
I also thought that Morono fight. I thought the Morono fight shouldn't have been a split either. I had that for Keita.
Yeah, he won that fight. I don't like, a lot of people think that Alev's gonna go out there and out grapple him. Like, I don't think so, man. Like, I don't see him like taking him down or holding him down, and like I really don't. I think we got the better grapple.
He's a juiced Russian in Russia. It's a total possibility.
He's juiced, but also like one thing is his chin. Like, I don't think his chin's that good, man. I really don't. Nakamura,
it's not.
Nakamura's not a KO artist or anything, but I think he could definitely hurt him and, like you mentioned, get a sub. I'm gonna change my pick real quick. I think he's gonna get a submission. I said he's gonna get a TKO, but yeah, I think he's gonna hurt him and tap him out. Because to be honest, Nakamura he's not really. I don't think he's got a finish or KO finish in the UFC. So yeah, I got him by submission as well. So yeah, call the next one.
Yeah, let me get this next one real quick. Fuck. Who do we got? We got Movzar, Evloev. I don't know how to say that fucking name. You don't know how to say it?
Let me check real quick. Movzar Evloev.
Evloev.
I've heard people
taking on.
I've heard prediction people say Movzar.
I'm just gonna say Movzar, man. Movzar taking on Sung Woo Choi. Movzar minus 325 favorite. Choi plus 265 underdog, man. I'm gonna say it right now. This is my pick for fight of the night. I think these two are gonna fucking go at each other, man. I'm a huge fan of both these guys. I can't wait to see them make their debuts. Watching the tape on Choi, he's super exciting. You know, he's one of those Koreans who trains with all those high level guys out there. Fights on, I forget the name of the organization, but you know, there's fighters like Wiley Zhang coming out of that same organization. A couple other guys, I'm forgetting the names on the top of my head, but you know, one of these high level Korean guys for sure. And when I think of these Korean fighters, I always think of the dude that came in and fought Peter Yan on short notice and like really showed up and gave Peter Yan one of his best fights in the UFC. Now this is a completely different guy. I'm just saying, like the level of talent coming out of Korea and China right now, I think it's come a far long way from what it used to be thought of, and I definitely think a little bit of the inflammation on this line might literally just be because it's a Russian taking on a Korean in Russia, and that's a legitimate thing. But I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like the way that Movzar fights, he puts himself in a lot of bad situations on the feet. Like, he can get really wild at times, and this dude Choi can counter shot like a motherfucker. Like, I give him a lot of props. His one lone loss on his MMA record, you know, he was caught pretty early, but then he rematched that guy, and they had a really good fight. But like Choi, what I was so impressed was just the adjustments he was able to make, and I think it was only like a 1 year difference from the first fight. Just came out like an entirely different man, and I've said it for years on my videos. The number one thing I look for in fighters is improvements, and I see a lot of improvements from Choi. That gives me a lot of reason to believe I think we're going to see the very best version of him possible here in the UFC. I think it's going to be a lot of motivation for him, man. And I think he has a great counter striking ability against a guy who is very aggressive and is going to come at him. The line on fight doesn't go the distance for this fight is super fucking high. Like, doesn't go to decision, is minus 160. So this fight's definitely favored to not go to the distance. And I just feel like there's such a huge chance Choi hits one of those counter strikes on Movzar here and knocks him out. But Movzar, in my opinion, he is the better fighter. I just see more potential out of him. This is his home country, and he's legit, man. I mean, I do think he might be at a little bit of a size disadvantage here. I believe he's making his 145-pound debut here. Fought like his entire career at 135. Choi is the real 145-pounder, but who knows? Movzar is young. Maybe this is the weight class for him. We just don't know a whole lot about these guys. In my opinion, at the current price, it's most certainly dog or pass. Choi at plus 265. I don't hate a 1 unit stab on that at all. I'm going to have him in a couple lineups in DraftKings because I do think if he wins, it's a $70, $100 guy who's probably going to end up getting a knockout. So I really want to pick Choi here. But I just think Movzar, if they fight 10 times, he wins at least 6 of them. So I'm going to go with Movzar. I'll say second round TKO.
Yeah, it's a good fight. They're going to go out there and brawl. It's definitely probably the most exciting fights in the card. Both these guys are good prospects. Yeah, I just think Movzar is a better fighter, man. I think he's a better striker. I think he's more technical. I think he can take him down. I think Choi's a good fighter too, though. I think he's going to win a lot of fights in UFC. He's probably the bigger fighter. But yeah, I just think we're faster. I think I don't know why I keep saying we because I'm not betting him. I think he's the fast. I know he'll be on my DraftKings lineup though, but I think he's faster. But yeah, I just think he's the better striker. So I think he's going to win a decision, but I think he's going to score a lot of points. So I got Movzar by decision. Next fight, we got Krzysztof Shtyrkov, a.k.a. Jotko, versus Alan Amedovski. And kind of like what I just said, you know, Jotko, you know, I think he's shot, man, for sure. But He's on a 3-fight losing streak. His back's against the wall. I don't think he's a jobber or anything, but he is shot. Like, he's declining. He hasn't looked that good, but I think he has more ways to win this fight. I think he's going to definitely take down Amedovski. He has pretty good striking too, man. He's technical. He hits hard. His cardio's not good, though. We saw what happened against Uriah Hall. He blew his wad, and then he got finished. He didn't look good against Brad Tavares. He didn't even look good against Branch. Like, all 3 of the fights he lost, he just did not look good in. Like, before that, he was looking like maybe he can be a potential, like, top 5 guy, man. But I don't know what's happened to him. He's at top team, too. But, I'll say this. Amedovski, I think, has more power. I think he has good striking, but I got to go with the more experienced guy, man. I got Jotko. His back's against the wall. I think he's going to go out there and make a statement in this fight. And even though I called him Shako, I think he wins this fight, and I think he makes it look good, man. Makes it look impressively. So I got Jotko by a finish. I think he's going to go out there and hurt him, man, on the feet. And I think he's going to get a TKO. What about you?
All right, man. So we got the first fight of 0 Russians, 1 of 2 on this card that doesn't have a Russian on it. Amedovski, you would think with that last name he might be Russian, but Macedonian born, actually trains out in Italy. It's funny, we got a matchup of ATT Rome versus ATT Coconut Creek here. So a little ATT on ATT action in this fight. And it's an interesting one, man. You're right. Jotko is like definitely back against John. Him is pretty much correct. I think his physicality, I think he's going to be the bigger, stronger guy. I think takedowns are probably going to be key for him here. I've seen Amedovski taken down a few times. Amedovski is actually not that bad of a striker. He's a solid athlete, and I think he's probably going to win a couple UFC fights, in my opinion. This probably just isn't one of them, because even with Jotko, like, yeah, he's lost a few times, but he's losing against decent competition, and he's still gone out there and beat guys like Talus Ladies at his own game, and that was before Talus Ladies was kind of starting to decline a little bit. Ladies was still in his prime, and he went there and took him down kind of with ease, and that's probably what he's going to end up faulting to here is some wrestling. I think the striking is going to be close, and then takedowns are going to be the ones to do it for him. So I'm going to go with Jotko for a clean sweep of 30-27 here. So, yeah, I had to go for the win, but I wouldn't bet it, man, just because he's not looking good. He's declined for sure. It's not who he was. But moving on to the next one, man. I believe we got the biggest favorite card here, man. It's a chick. We got Antonina Shevchenko, minus 345 taking on Roxanne Modafferi, plus 285. This is the second fight on the card that doesn't feature a Russian in it. We got Shevchenko, and say she has the ground game that a Valentina Shevchenko does, and that's kind of what worries me a little bit here, man, is because we haven't seen a whole lot of Antonina's ground game, and obviously that's Roxy's bread and butter. She's probably been grappling since Shevchenko was a kid, man. I mean, she's a really high-level BJJ player, and if it hits the mat, it's going to be scary. Just thing is, I probably don't see it hitting the mat. I think Antonina's a lot bigger, a lot more physical. I think she's really going to be able to pepper Roxy up on the feet, hit her with some big shots, and probably win. I mean, she's going to outmuscle Roxy in the clinch. She's probably going to stuff all her takedowns, and she's probably going to just pick her apart for 3 rounds and win a decision. I don't know all about minus 50, but I definitely got Shevchenko here. I think she beats Roxy in a decision, so 30-27. What do you think, me, bro?
Yeah, you know what, man? This is a close fight, man.
I think we lost Justin.
What happened? Yeah, we're having
it cut out for a little bit. Go ahead.
We're having a little technical difficulties, but anyways, I think it's a good fight, man. I like Modafferi. You know, she's a nerd. But I mean, I'm a nerd. I'm sure you're a nerd too. You gotta like her, man. You know, she's a fun fighter, great ground game. I mean, let's be honest. We saw Shevchenko got taken down by a complete bum on the Contender Series. I wouldn't surprise me at all if Modafferi took her down. I think she actually does take her down. But I mean, I think Shevchenko probably can get right back up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she got in some trouble. But on the feet, she's the way better striker, way more technical. I don't think Modafferi has a bad chin. I think she has a good chin. I think she's tough. She has good cardio. Striking's improved, man. She actually hurt Eubanks, I think, in that second or third round. But I just think that she's slow here, and I think that Shevchenko's a faster striker. I think that she needs to avoid getting taken down, though, because if she gets taken down, I'd be worried if I was on Shevchenko because, Roxy has a good ground game. But I'm going to have to go with Shevchenko with a decision win. But I think Roxy could definitely win a round and take her down for sure. But I just got the better striker. So next fight, Roxy's live, by the way, for sure. That's my opinion. I do think she's live. So if you're listening to this, Clint, I'm sure you probably, I haven't checked out your podcast yet. I will tonight. I'm sure you probably bet Modafferi. I think that's a good bet, man, because she's definitely live, and I think the line's up. So next fight, we got Ivan. How do you pronounce his last name?
That's a good question, man. I'm not sure.
I don't want to say Shtyrkov, or I don't know what Ivan
Shtyrkov.
Yeah, Ivan Shtyrkov. Ivan Shtyrkov versus Devin Clark. I think that you might have to change that Shtyrkov to Devin Clark's name because, man, you know what? I'm not gonna be that harsh on him. I don't think he's that bad. I think that his chin is definitely suspect. I don't think his chin's that good at all, but I think his ground game's good. I think he has really good wrestling. I think he's tough. I think he's athletic. But this guy shouldn't be fighting at 205. He's pretty small, man. He's undersized for sure. But, I mean, he's won some good fights. He beat Rodriguez. I think he dominated him in that fight. If they fought again, it'll be a different fight. I think Rodriguez is a good fighter. He hurt Ratchich and actually dropped him, which is pretty surprising. But between me and you, I think Ratchich is a good fighter. I do. But I don't see him, being the guy that a lot of people think. A lot of people think he's a future champ. I don't think so. I think Jimmy Manuwa was actually live in that fight, pre-tape. But Ratchet is a good fighter. I do. I mean, Devin Clark dropped him, man. I don't know, man. Devin Clark doesn't really have, the best striking, I think. He's athletic. He's explosive. But I think he has to get this fight to the mat, and it's going to be hard because I think Shtyrkov, just kidding, Ivan, I think that he has good grappling too. And he hits like a truck. And when you hit like a truck, Devin Clark usually, goes to sleep. Nicholson knocked him out with the weirdest shit. It was a weak punch. He got knocked out versus Ratchich. He gets hurt a lot in his fights too. Who's he beaten besides Rodriguez? He beat Josh Stansberry. That guy is a total turd. And he beat Jay Collier. I mean, that guy's he got popped or something. That guy's not even that good either. So, but yeah, man, the line, I mean, I think it's where it should be right now, and I think Devin Clark has to go out there and take him down. I think if he doesn't, he's deep shit. I think we could. I think Ivy could take him down. I don't know why I'm saying we, but yeah, I think Devin Clark slows down. I think they both slow down, but I think he's gonna finish Devin Clark. So I got Ivan by a second round TKO.
Man, this is an interesting one. I think you definitely nailed that breakdown of Devin Clark. He's got a lot of holes in his game, man. He doesn't have the best fight IQ. He's kind of chinny, all that good stuff. But I mean, you nailed the good aspects of him as well. He's very explosive, and the reason he was able to go in there and hurt Rakic in that first round, it was the first round. He still had all his energy. I mean, he is an explosive guy. He's a UFC level athlete. He could probably go in there and hurt a lot of guys on his best day. But, I mean, he still ended up going in there and blowing that fight, losing it in the first round himself. Now we got Ivan Shtyrkov on the other hand. This dude, very well experienced on that regional scene, man. I mean, really been in there with a who's who and been in there with multiple, 3 or 4 former UFC fighters. He's been in there with Jeff Monson, Rico Rodriguez, Antonio Silva, Satoshi Ishii, Fabio Maldonado, Thiago Silva. I mean, this guy's been in there with a lot of well-experienced guys. And quite simply, dude, I mean, this guy's a winner, 16-0. That's a very impressive record. And I want to say this, man, because he's getting a lot of shit because he literally looks like the Hulk. He's extremely, extremely bulky, but I want to give him credit, man, because he's actually very athletic for his size. Like, he throws, I mean, anybody can throw spinning shit, but the question is, can you throw spinning shit with, like, real crisp technique? Yes, this guy can. This guy's really athletic for his size, man, and I see some people saying he has a gassing issue. I mean, he slows down. I mean, of course, a guy of that size is going to slow down a little bit, but I think I think there's no really gas tank issue at all. I think if anything, it's probably going to be pretty similar to Devin Clark's gas tank. But problem is here, man, like you're right. Devin Clark has to get takedowns. He needs to be desperate for those takedowns because on the feet, like he's just asking him to get knocked out. He's got a lot of holes defensively. He's chinny. It's just not a good look against this guy who can absolutely crack. Ivan's also fought at heavyweight too, but I definitely think 205 is the very best weight class for him, and he's just looking good, man. I mean, obviously in Russia as well, there's a lot of things going for him, man, and I kind of get the feeling that the UFC brought Devin Clark in to lose here. I feel like that's kind of been the case. I mean, they knew after the Justin Ledet fight that Rakic was going to be a real high-level guy. So, I mean, what do? They feed him a guy like Devin Clark, get him a nice highlight reel. That's exactly what he did, and I mean, it's not to disrespect Devin Clark, but I say it again, the definition of a jobber is the guy who they bring in to lose, and in my opinion, that's what's happening here. So I'm going to go with Shtyrkov. I actually think he should be in the minus 200s. I see some value on him, and hey, if it gets a little better, man, he's definitely a guy I'm eyeing down. In the minus 150 range, I might have to take that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to go with Ivan, first round KO. Moving on to the next one, man, we got Marcelo Golm plus 205 taking on Sergey Pavlovich minus 245. Man, I took the underdog shot on Sergey Pavlovich last fight against Alistair Overeem, who happens to be on this card, and it just turned out Overeem was just way too high level and all that good stuff for Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey was not ready for an Alistair Overeem. Now, the UFC, I mean, they're gifting him here for taking that fight against Alistair Overeem. They said, "All right, let's take a guy who's been not looking that great. We'll give you him in your home country." So he's taking on Golm here, who's definitely like, oh man, you should have seen some of the shit people were saying about Golm. People thought Golm was going to be very good, man, but I mean, the fact is, I mean, he's not. He's definitely got a lot of holes defensively with the wrestling, even his striking. Like, he has some power, but I don't know, man. This guy's not that good. I think Pavlovich rolls here. I think he's actually better everywhere. He should be around minus 300. So at minus 245, I think he's definitely a valuable parlay piece if you want to go that route. I was going to go that route, but just something about parlaying heavyweights, it kind of sets me off a little bit, even if it is a Russian in Russia. But I'm going to go with Sergey. I think he actually TKOs Golm here in the second round with ground and pound.
Yeah, I don't really care about this fight that much. Pavlovich got smoked last fight, but that was against, Reem. And Golm hasn't really been looking that good. He has good movement. He has pretty decent striking, but he can get taken down. You think Pavlovich takes him down?
I think he could take him down. I mean, he's no Timothy Johnson and Arjun Bueller have high wrestling accolades, but I mean, I could see it happening. He got taken down pretty easily.
Yeah, I can see him taking down Golm. Golm's a pretty fish out of water. He has pretty good striking, but I think Pavlovich has more power. So I think he has more ways to win. So I got Pavlovich with the decision win, but I'm not confident. Next fight, a fight that I'm pretty confident in, we got Mac and Cheese, my boy, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. And that's going to close out my parlay with Olek Jacek, Mac and Cheese, 3 units. And yeah, man, I think this is a big step up for Arman. He's fought no one near Mac and Cheese. I think Mac and Cheese is a top 15 guy, definitely a top 10 in the future. Baby Khabib. He hasn't fought in the best competition, but I think Nick Lentz would go out there and beat Arman. We just saw Nick Lentz beat Scott Haas Holtzman. Like, that was a pretty damn good win, man. I thought Nick Lentz was on the decline. He probably still is, but that was a really good win. I hope he beats Oliveira, but he probably won't. Albert has his number. But anyways, back in the matchup. We've seen Arman get taken down, man, against complete jobbers, man, like Junior and Sensao. I really think that Mac and Cheese is really good grappling. His striking's improved a lot. We saw him knock out T-Bow. His striking's not bad. Like, he hits like a truck. I think, he has good pressure, but he's relentless, man, for the ground game. He took down Nick Lenz multiple times, dominated him. That's what he does, man. He's a great grappler. Obviously, he trains with Khabib, and that's his main sparring partner and his best friend and everything. He's a tank, man. He's a big 155er. I think he's going to get a big step up after this fight, man. And I think it's too much too soon, man, for Arman. I think Arman's a good striker. I think he's going to win fights in the UFC. He has more tools on the feet for sure, but I just think that Mac and Cheese is going to get him down, man, and pound him out. He has a huge advantage on the mat. And on the feet, he has good striking too. He has good technical striking, but he's just relentless, man, for that takedown. And I think that's what's going to happen, man. I think even if he gets in trouble in the feet a little bit, he's going to take him right down and keep him down there and pound him out. So I got Mac and Cheese by TKO. I got him in the second round. What about you?
Man, this is a really good co-main event in my opinion. I like this kid Arman Sarukian. I think he has a lot of potential. He's already gone out there, beat a couple of UFC veterans in Takanori Sato and Felipe Olivieri. Beat Junior Sunsao. For 22 years old, I think the sky is the absolute limit for this dude Arman. But the thing is, he's coming in here fighting a guy who, in my opinion, Islam Makhachev has pretty much proved himself as like a top 20, at least top 25 lightweight. And the thing is, he's already got that first loss out of the way, got knocked out by Martins. But, since then, I feel like he's been getting a lot better. Dominated Chris Wade, dominated Nick Lenz, knocked out Gleison Tebow in under a minute. I feel like a lot of people picked Makhachev there, probably by decision, and, surprised everyone with a knockout. And then finished Cajun Johnson, armbarred Cajun Johnson in the first round. He handled Cajun Johnson a lot better than his fellow Russian Rustam Kabalov did, that's for sure. Islam's on his way to the top 15, man. I think behind Khabib, he might be one of the best wrestlers in the entire division. And that might just, that one thing, it just might be enough. Just the wrestling advantage might be that alone to be able to get him through this fight against Arman, man. I feel like it's probably just going to be too much, and he's just going to smother him for 3 rounds. So I'm gonna give Arman the benefit of the doubt and say he lasts, but I'll go with Islam Makhachev via a dominant 30-26 decision here, man. So main event of the evening, we got Alistair, the Reem, over Reem, minus 255. He's taking on Alexei Oleinik, plus 215. Man, I like over Reem in this fight here, man, and I was actually considering him as a parlay leg as well. But again, I don't know how I feel about parlaying these minus 250 heavyweights, especially in this one where he's taking on a Russian. But the thing is here, man, I just feel like he's probably going to tee the fuck off on Oleinik. He's so much faster. He's so much longer. He has the kicking tools. I just feel like he just needs to keep this at range and pick him apart, kick that body. Honestly, when I play this fight in my head, I just see him crumbling Oleinik with the body kick in the second round. He just needs to stay away from that awkward power on the feet. I was absolutely stunned to find out that Oleinik actually has the same fucking size reach as Alistair Overeem here, which is that's crazy, man. Oleinik for his size, he's not that tall of a guy. He's 6'1", and he has the same reach as fucking 6'4" Overeem, one of the best strikers in MMA history. I guess that explains why the dude's chokes are so damn strong, is because he's got those long ass anaconda arms. Boa is the perfect nickname for this dude. Holy shit. He's just so creative with those chokes, man. And if he gets anybody down, they're gonna be in fucking trouble. And Overeem really has developed a really good grappling game in his career. So I feel like if it does even hit the mat, I feel like he's not going to be completely outclassed there whatsoever. I feel like he'll be able to do what he needs to do and get back up to the feet if it hits there. I'm actually kind of more worried about Reem getting hit with just an awkward overhand and just crumbling to that because, I mean, what's the story on Overeem before between his MMA and kickboxing career? He's been knocked out like 15, 16 times. It's just not a good look, man. Like, I'm not going to be surprised at all if he picks apart Olenek for 15, 20 minutes and gets blasted, knocked out dead. Like, I'm not going to say I'm going to be surprised. So it's definitely enough to get me away to not parlay him at minus 250, but I ultimately do think he gets the job done here, man. I definitely prefer him on the DraftKings format, especially at 5 rounds, man. I feel like even if he doesn't get the finish here, like 5 rounds worth of picking this guy apart, he's still going to get over 100 points. So Alistair Overeem, he's more of a DraftKings play than a bet for me. Olenek, I don't know, man. Like, I definitely have to have my share of Olenek on DraftKings as well, just because, I mean, he's 72, 7,300. If he wins, he knocks Reem out or submits him. Like, he's going to be on the winning lineup, so you have to play both these guys. I've made a decent amount of my lineup so far, and I'd say about 90% of them either has Alistair Overeem or Alexei Olenek in it. So I definitely see a finish here, man. It's gonna be fun while it lasts. But I'll go with Alistair Overeem, second round TKO via liver shot.
Yeah, I think it's a good matchup for Reem. You know, he does have a bad chin, but I don't think Oleski has the best striking. Like, he has power. Like, he hurt Mark Hunt in the feet, but Mark Hunt, you know, that guy's, you know, on the verge of retirement. He's done. You know, he's been done for a while. We just saw Justin Willis. Oh my God, that was an ugly fight. But anyways, I mean, the guy has a great ground game, man. They call him Boa. If he hurts Reem, he's gonna get Reem out of there, man. He's not gonna TKO him, I don't think, but he would. I think he could definitely sub him. But I think Reem has so many more tools in the feet. Tell your dog to shut up. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man. I think Reem is, you know, a really good striker. I think you're training with Curtis Blaze now, and Elevation's only going to help his game even more. You know, Bo has a good chin, though, man, for sure, but he's been knocked out a lot, too. So I think he's going to hurt him on the feet. He's taking a lot of damage, too, and I think he's going to get him out of there. So I got Reem, and I'll go with the second round finish as well, and I feel like you got to play this fight on DraftKings. I'm going to be making my DraftKings lineups later after I eat dinner. So just a little recap on our plays. I got 3 units on mac and cheese and Olek Jasik at minus 106, and I have 3 units on K-Taro at minus 115. What about you? And tell us your plays one more time.
Yeah, man, I got 4 units on Mikal Olek Jacek at minus 192, and I got 2 units on Alex de Silva plus 135 to win 2.7 units. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter, MMA Kelton, all that good stuff. Tune in next week, man. We got the Florida card. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man, I like UFC Sunrise. I actually have a play already. I bet Corey Sandhagen 3 units at plus 130. You know, I think I got like plus 175 when the fight was going to happen in January. But I mean, I'm not going to get even close to that again. I think it's a good matchup. I really do. John Lineker is, you know, really good fighter, top 10 guy. But I think we're going to pick them apart, and stay tuned to my matchup next week. I mean, stay tuned to our breakdown this week. And one more thing we got to talk about real quick is me and Kelton bet Shane Burgos on the UFC Ottawa card. And Kelton got a way better line than I did. Kelton, tell us about your line real quick.
Yeah, bro. I got $100 on the opener, plus 135, 2 units. I put another 2 units at plus 105, and I put another 2 units at minus 115. That is my biggest play of the year so far. 6 units on Shane Burgos, 6 units to win 6.54. I believe he's sitting at minus 185 right now, man. So, I mean, when it comes to the part about beating the closing line, I already got that nailed. I just need Shane Burgos to come out and do the damn thing. I'm excited for that card's breakdown.
Yeah, I got 2 units at plus 105. I don't have as much as you because it wouldn't let me put more than 100 on 105. And then when I went to minus 105, I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I mean, if you know the channel, you know that I'm really high on Shane Burgos and Cub Swanson's. That guy is, you know, good striker, good fighter, you know, legend of the sport, Hall of Famer probably, but he's done, man. He's done. He's a good striker. He could drop Burgos, but if this fight hits the mat, it's over. Like, and on the feet, I think Burgos is way better chin. I think he's way more technical, man. But Cub can still strike, but yeah, Cub can still strike, but I mean, he's shot, man. He's done, in my opinion. So stay tuned to that breakdown in a couple weeks. And yeah, we'll be back for next week. Great card. I can't wait to talk about all those fights. Jack the Joker Hermanson. I mean, the guy just fought, man, a couple weeks ago, and he's fighting again. That's going to be a hell of a scrap. I haven't taped it yet, but I have someone pre-taped, and we'll talk about that next week. So later, guys.